Thanks for joining us today.
Let's get started.
I guess we should take a moment to explain to everybody that as of Monday and then again today, New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, the governor of the state of New Mexico has shut things down, basically asked us to stay in our homes and protect one another from the onslaught of the virus. So Shelley and I will be working from this point forward in our respective homes. And this is a little note. It's not that we don't know how to do this, but our timing may be a little bit off tonight. So just bear with us while we work out the kinks. All right, Shelley, back to you.
Okay, so I'm focusing on trying to get the other stream going. So are we on the first page?
We are on YouTube. I can definitely see us on YouTube. I didn't have. Are you on? Oh, you know what I need to do? Hang on just a sec. And let's see. It says that we'll be on in 2 minutes. It's waiting for something to happen.
Interesting.
So
it's a whole new ball game.
Whole new ball game. So it doesn't look. Let me see.
I'm trying to get the other stream to just go. Okay, it says it's live now. So that's working.
Okay. I didn't. So I didn't open that that live dashboard. I opened up the TSS live dashboard. That's where I'm at right now. So if you can see the other one, I wonder how long it would take. You know where you can find it out is on Restream. Hang on just a sec.
You've got Restream up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing it. Good. Okay.
Let's see. Facebook, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube events, Sales Leaders Institute, and it says it's online. So
It is. Okay, we are live on the softer side. We're live on Sales Leaders Institute. We're live on Facebook. Let me just do a watch party, and that's all that's left to do, and then we can start.
Periscope. You are streaming to Periscope.
Yes.
So
Start this party going.
get this party started.
All right. We are ready to go. Today's topic is Persuade to Joy. It's a little bit of a play on words, and we're basically starting off with the art of persuasion, which is a big part of sales, but it's also a big part of relationships. How do I get you to do the things I want you to do, and then even be happy about it? And that's persuasion. Here is a cool little meme. It says, "Elegant persuasion is when the other person thought it was their idea." I love that. That's by Marshall Silver. And it just makes a lot of sense that when people think it was their idea, then they're all in, right? Let's see if I can forward the screen here. Next. There we go. Okay. Please take a moment to subscribe. Click on the bell to receive notifications. Make sure you like the video with a thumbs up and share it with your social media contacts and anyone you feel would benefit from today's topic, or just as lonely at home and need someone to talk to. Send them on over to the chat room. And in the live chat room, please do say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. Ask any questions you might have. Prepare to call us today at 202-815-1171 and share your story in the chat room. Here's a prompt for you. How do you feel about persuasion? Do you like to persuade other people? Do you hate it when people try to persuade you? How do you feel? Support others in the chat room and be a friend. Push comes to shove. This is the push me, pull you, right? What happens when we push people? They push back. They don't like being pushed. What are some of the things we're doing when we're pushing? We're giving them more information. Well, you just didn't get enough information. Let me tell you more about it. Then you'll understand, and then you'll be on my side. No, I don't even tell me anymore. Follow-up calls and emails. Hey, did you want to connect? Hey, hello. Hey, here's another offer. Here's another invitation. Push, push, push. Demonstrating features and functions. Let me show you again how this works. Maybe people just aren't interested. And we continue to push. What could we do instead? What we need to become is a catalyst. A catalyst doesn't just make chemical reactions happen. What it does is it lowers the barriers from each of those two chemicals that you're trying to get to combine and react. It lowers their barriers so that they do combine and react. That's what the catalyst does. So what we need to ask ourselves as catalyst is, what obstacles are preventing change? So you've given that your perspective relationship or your prospective client all the information, and still they're hesitating. They don't want to make that change. We have to find out what that obstacle is that's keeping them from committing to that change. And then we need to ask ourselves, how can I show that what you want to do, what I want you to do is what you already want to do anyway. It's aligned with your purpose. It is perfect for you, right? This is right up your alley. How can I show you that what I want you to do is aligned with what you already want? Yeah. Did you want to say anything about that before I moved on?
Well, I wanted to add to the concept in saying that the best way to be able to get to do that, to convince someone that you both want the same thing, is understanding what they want enough so that when you realize it's slightly different from yours, there's some way to communicate that you're open to compromising, right? Without saying that I'm ready to compromise that. I don't want to compromise my morals. I don't want to compromise my values. I don't want you to compromise your morals and values. But what's the best result for both of us? And what are the obstacles that are keeping us from achieving those common goals? So it becomes a matter of getting them to agree, getting the other person to agree that you really do have common goals, right? When you're selling, for example, the common goal is that their company is going to be in a better position by buying your product than they are now. That's a common goal. And all you have to do is figure out the obstacles to getting to that goal. That's what makes the sale. And that's where the persuasion comes in.
That's right. There are 5 barriers to change, and this is for anybody. Doesn't just mean your prospect getting them to buy. It could be a relationship, could be your child, somebody in your life that you want them to come on over to your side of that wall. So those 5 barriers to change include reactance, endowment, distance, uncertainty, and corroborating evidence. And let's talk about each one of those. Reactance is when people push back because they want a sense of freedom or control. I don't want you telling me to buy this car. I want choices. So we neutralize reactance with choices. Would you like the red one or the blue one? Would you like the 6-week package or the 12-week package? We offer those choices, and that provides, instead of them finding, well, I don't like that thing that you're offering because this. Now you spread it out to, would you like this or this? And they say, oh, I have some choices here. Let me see which one's the best. So they're not finding things wrong and reasons to say no. They're finding which one is a better fit for them. And that's volitional autonomy, and it creates an investment in the outcome because now they're involved in which one is best for me.
And that technique has actually evolved over the years. to respond to reactants. Instead of saying, do you want the black one or the white one, they ask, what car did you want to buy? And I'm just using that car sales as an example so that you can understand where they're at in their own heads. And then what was it that you liked most about that car? So you ask a series of questions that gets you to the point where what they're imagining is the perfect answer. And sometimes they can't afford the perfect answer, right? You never actually ask, well, how much can you afford? Because that car is out of your range, right? You just keep asking them, keep asking them, keep asking them. And the final question is, what's your budget? And that's where the negotiations start.
And this is no different than what I learned in child development with preschoolers. You ask them, instead of, would you put on your sweater? No, because you have to ask them questions they can't say no to. Do you want to wear the red sweater or the black sweater today? They can't say no. They can say no, but it wouldn't make sense.
Right.
And say, pick one or the other.
Yeah.
Endowment. People are attached to what they already do or have. I'm pretty comfortable with YouTube the way it is right now. Don't change it. Don't make changes. But they did. They changed it. And now we have to get used to it. And we were all happy with what we had. So what YouTube could do, or what anybody could do in that case, is highlight the gap between what they're saying they care about and what they're actually doing, and encourage them to resolve that gap. So YouTube can say, but look, the new studio has all these great features that the old one didn't have that you said you wanted. So come on over.
Oh, don't get me started on YouTube. So my problem with it was that they were offering all these new features at the expense of a different user interface. And the problem for us was we had been using the same user interface for 4 years. We had become accustomed to it. We had become comfortable with it. They introduce they introduce all these new features, but in the process introduce not just a modified user interface, but a completely new user interface. So it made it difficult, the things that you had gotten accustomed to, in order to do something, to upload a video and put in the information related to that video, was in a completely different place. And your first reaction is they've made it harder. And but once you started practicing with it, you realized, it wasn't harder. They've just organized it in a better way, and all you have to do is overcome your, I don't know if it was fear, but your concerns about the user interface.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, I think as we watched YouTube introduce this new studio, one of the things that you noticed is they kept delaying the transition. And I think it's because they had this very interesting little option when you said, send me back to the old Creator Studio, right? They'd pop up a screen and it said, why are you asking us to send you back? And one of the options was the equivalent of none of your business. And then you'd click skip. And so people didn't want to even have a conversation about what they thought was better for them. They just wanted it to have it the way they used to have it. So they delayed the transition for almost a year as they helped people kind of work through it, produce more videos and how to use it and what the benefits were. So it was an interesting transition for them, and that's true for most of us. When you lay something, if you were to walk into a car dealer and say, we don't sell those trucks anymore, that's the truck we sell, right? You don't give me any options. I don't know what I'm buying. I had driven the old truck before. I like the old truck. Can't you just give me the new model of the old truck? So, and everybody has to go through that sooner or later.
So what we can do as a provider is make that transition as easy and as smooth as possible. A lot of phone companies will do that. Say if you want to move from Verizon over to T-Mobile, they offer you all kinds of incentives. They'll pay off your old phone. They'll move all your contacts. They'll do whatever they can to make it easier than ever for you to make that change. They'll help you, walk you through it, take you through it, do it all for you just to get you to make that change. And YouTube, What they did was they provided a lot of information and a really long transition period so that people could slowly get used to it and, just continue to try the new thing, try it again, and until they finally got used to it and can switch over. The next one is distance. This occurs a lot with politics or with people who are entrenched in, I like this and I'm not even interested in what you've got to say. Distance. They won't listen because it's so far away from their existing perspective that they don't want to consider it. The best way to deal with that is to continue to ask the prospective person, the prospect or the person in the relationship, ask them open-ended questions and then listen to what they say. Repeat back what they've said so that they know you're listening and you've heard them. Because they are the expert of their own problem. Nobody knows that problem as well as they do. So we have got to listen to them and make sure that we're hearing their experiences and empathizing with those. And then we want to follow up with, and how is that working for you? So that they can come to their own conclusions about, it's great, I love it, or, well, it's got a lot of problems.
And one of the benefits of taking this approach, and we describe this in our sentient sales tools and techniques, is the easiest thing for you to do is to ask them those open-ended questions, because one of the things that you discover is that there is no problem with them taking the time to answer them. Ask them the question and they'll answer it completely. Because they love talking about what they love talking about. The nice thing about that is that the more that you let them talk, the more you enable them to express their opinions on whatever the matter is, the more they build what I'll call an emotional connection with you. And if you let them do that, they actually subconsciously recognize that they owe you a favor back of letting you talk. And you surprise them by using that last one where you say, how is that working for you? And you want to hear more about it. The longer you listen to them, the more they become connected to you. And that starts breaking down the barriers of that they've developed for whatever reason. It can be any reason. It could be from politics to religion to treasure hunting to whatever. The more questions you ask, the closer they're going to become to you.
Right.
Well,
and how does that get you closer to the treasure?
And how does that get you closer? How does that
and
get you closer?
And how is that working for you?
Right.
The next one is uncertainty. This is less about the past and what's happened in the past and more about the future. Especially right now, people are uncertain about the future. Not everything's changing around us. We are not really sure what's going to happen in the next week, let alone in the next 6 months. So we have a lot of uncertainty. New things involve uncertainty, and switching costs occur now and the benefits occur later. So if we're going to make a switch or a change, it's going to cost us right now. Say, for instance, I want to buy a different phone. Well, I'm going to have to pay out for that phone now, and I'm going to enjoy the benefits of that new phone later. I'm going to have to go through the learning process of how to use that new phone or what apps to put on it. And, all the things that are involved with learning a new piece of technology is a cost. It takes me time. It takes me effort. I have to get some frustration going, with having to learn all of that to get to the benefits. So the best way to deal with something like this is to offer free trial and money back guarantee. So people know that if I just hate it, I can get out of this, right? I'm going to go do the free trial, see if I like it. If I don't like it, I don't have to pay for it. Or I'm going to try this course, and if it's just not what I wanted or needed, then I can get my money back. So uncertainty.
And what better time to practice these tools and techniques than right now? Because we're entering a period that to some extent, I would say in my lifetime, has not occurred. I mean, we've had wars. I lived during the period where we had the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and then several wars that we were engaged in different sides of the planet. I've experienced probably 3 recessions now, in my 3 or 4 recessions. I've experienced the good times of the 50s and 60s, the uncertain times of the 70s, the critical times of the 80s. I've experienced the potential for global nuclear war, to watching the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics falling away. None of those can compare to what we're about to experience over the next 6 to 18 months, depending. Our lives are going to change. The way we look at life is going to change. So this is a good time to, if you're in the process of selling, people are dealing with all kinds of uncertainty, and they're going to bring that uncertainty with them when they're buying from you. And you're going to have to overcome not only the uncertainty of dealing with them on a level of product or service sales, you're going to have to deal with the uncertainty that they're experiencing in their life. Some of them will not know where their next paycheck is coming from, or some of them will not know that the government is, giving some of us money and not others, and not understand it. So this is going to be a real interesting period for us, because we're going to find out how good we are at being American. We've always prided ourselves on our resiliency and our agility and our stick-to-itiveness. We're about to find out whether or not that we really mean that, because this is going to be an interesting time for us.
We are corroborating evidence, bigger decisions, things that cost more money or more time and effort that you have to put into a project or an event. They require more proof. What's my ROI? How can I know that that's going to happen on the other side of this? So the best way to deal with that is with product reviews, testimonials, and referrals, word of mouth. Somebody referred them that they trust. And the more unbiased the information is, the bigger an impact that's going to have. So if you go to Amazon and you're looking at a product and you read the reviews, and then you find out the reviews were submitted by relatives of the person who put the product up, you're going to, I don't think so. But if it's a whole bunch of people from different walks of life, and they all think good things about it, then you're going to say, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. When we're selling transformation, which is what coaches do, we sell a transformation. We can offer a transformation at any level. We can say, well, we'll take your dissatisfied with where you're at now, and we'll bring you over to satisfied. It's not much of a transformation. If you think about the before and after pictures of people who lose a lot of weight, say you've got a person over here who lost 10 pounds, and then over here you've got a person who lost 100 pounds. Well, the 10 pounds before and after, you're not really going to see much of a difference. They may have a little bit thinner face. They may, have a little bit better posture, but there's not going to be much of a difference. With the person who's lost 100 pounds, you're going to go, wow, what a transformation that was. So visual. That's kind of what I'm showing you here. There's a small difference between dissatisfied and satisfied. There's a little bit bigger difference between unhappy and happy, and a big difference between pain and joy. We get to choose. We get to choose what kind of transformation we want. And how do we do that? By how much skin in the game we have, how much all in on it we are. If I say, yeah, do it for me, that's going to take me from dissatisfied to satisfied. But if I say, I'm all in and I'm doing this, that's the 100-pound loss. That's the pain to joy. So if you want a huge transformation, it requires you to be all in on it, you to be really focused on that transformation, and you really caring and doing the work, applying the principles. If you're not willing to do that, you're not going to get that big transformation. So my question is, which transformation do you want? And which do you believe you can can really happen for you. Some of us
Wow.
are like, that's never going to happen for me. Well, we've just put up our own roadblock. We've just stood in our own way. If we believe it, we can achieve it.
So, based on that particular slide, I'd like to address a question that Sarah is asking in the room. She says, in business, how does an employee who is the person who has the introduction to an idea get past a supervisor taking claim for said idea to upper management? And the answer to that question, from my perspective, is who decides on what you're getting, what you get paid. If upper management makes that decision, if that decision is made in upper managements, then you should make it a point to sit down with your supervisor and say, I'd like to get credit for that idea, and don't be afraid to say that. But I was in a position once, I've never worked for anyone, but I've contracted for others. And there was an individual who was responsible for judging my performance on the contract. And my performance, there was literally a percentage applied to the final value of the contract based on their perception of my performance. So when he took ideas that I gave him and he presented them to management without ever saying that necessarily I got those ideas, I was okay with that. And the reason I was okay with that is when it got time to negotiate the percentage that I was going to get of the contract, I knew I could say about those good ideas. I didn't even have to. I didn't have to say anything when we were resolving that issue. It got to that. He realized that all those ideas had been given to him to use in whatever way without criticism, and I got literally 100% of the amount of the value of the contract that I could have gotten. So it really depends. If that supervisor is the one who every 6 months or every year determines your increase in salary, then use it then. Don't worry about whether or not management is noting it. The important thing to do is at the end of the year, make sure that that person, the person that's determining what you're going to get in salary, performance, bonus, new title, etc., remembers all those good ideas that you presented to them. It is in the nature of some people that tend to be weaker in life to take those ideas and run with them, and that's okay. There's a karmic effect that I really can't explain because I'm not even sure I believe in it, but I've seen it happen so often, I have to believe in something like that happens. So use that, hold that in abeyance, and then at the end of the year, when you're discussing your value to the organization and the determination of how you're going to be compensated for that value in the coming year, that's when it comes up. Use it then.
Excellent advice. I want to expand on that just a smidge. When you come up with an idea, ask yourself, what is the best case scenario result of this idea? And how can we get to that result? Is it that you want to raise? Is it that some new technique is employed and that makes everybody's life better? What is the result that you want to come from that idea? And if that is indeed what happens, then that idea has served its purpose, and you have served your purpose as well. You've served it completely by creating the idea that got to the end result that you wanted. So, hooray.
Hooray for you, huh?
That's right. Joy. I love this quote. Joy is the wild card of life. It supersedes every other formula for success. If you can find a way to create joy, you can rise beyond all external factors. If you can play at whatever you're doing, you are the master of your life. So how do we create joy? We focus on and we're grateful for the good things in life. Sometimes when bad things are happening and the news is full of it, it's hard to remember that there's still a lot of good things going on in our lives. You know, we have healthy kids, we have food to eat, we have clean water to drink, we have, house to live in. We've got a bed. We've got things that we can be really grateful for.
We have new baby grandbabies.
We new baby grandbabies that are healthy and good sized and going to be a beautiful girl. Next, do the things you're passionate about more often. If there's things you just love to do, but you don't have the chance to do them often, ask yourself, how can I make them happen more often? Toby and I have friends that we love to go out to dinner with. We know that right now everybody's stuck at home. And we decided, hey, let's do a Zoom dinner on Sunday evening with these people. And what fun. And they're all excited about it. They're going to make a special meal for them to eat at their house. We're going to Zoom in and talk to each other. And it's going to be very nice. Find your ways around these obstacles and make the things happen that you enjoy. Next, get support to keep moving forward. Oh, and work around obstacles that keep you from your dreams. Well, I just mentioned that there's always going to be an obstacle on the way to your dream. And that is to help you evolve into the person that you want to become in order to enjoy that dream. So work your way around and get support. Get support with a coach, a mentor, friends, family, whoever is supportive of you and your dreams. So join us in creating joy and passion on our new channels. Toby's going to show us how to subscribe to our 2 new channels.
So you have to release your share.
Alrighty.
Okay. Oops. Give me 1 sec. Because I selected the wrong screen. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to show you 2 things here. All right. So you should be able to see that. Let me make sure that you can see that. It's right there. Let me see.
So yes, we have 2 new channels. Next week, we're going to be going live on COVID Conversations, as you can see, on Monday. We've been having shows the last 2 Mondays with Dr. Coffee Brown. So we do hope that you will subscribe with us right now.
So you can go to COVID Conversations. You can enter it into the search bar at the top of the page, at the top of your YouTube page. Enter COVID Conversations and then click subscribe. And the reason that's important right now is because Dr. Brown is with the University of New Mexico Medical Center. He's the chief of the Emergency Medical Services Department. He still teaches there. As a matter of fact, they're continuing to teach. And in order to keep his students up to date, what he had to do was he had to collect all the data related to the coronavirus, COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, et cetera, et cetera. And what he agreed to do with us is join us on Monday nights in real time and answer questions. And you can ask questions in the chat room. You can send them to our 202 number. You can send them to covidconversations@gmail.com so that you're getting the facts and you're getting them in the context of your question. It's a good time to subscribe. We were actually using one of our other channels for this purpose. And we just converted it over that because he was so, like I said, he was so excited about being able to do this that he wanted to do it. You know, he committed to Monday nights, making himself available on Monday nights. So join us there. And then starting next week, we're going to transition over from where we are right now, which is the softer side, and we're going to transition over to Sales Leaders Institute. That's our new channel. It's our new business, and we're going to start building content there. You're going to see more interviews, and the topics are going to be related to sales performance, sales management. But the new business that Shelley and I have formed is based upon our 2 areas of expertise. Her area of expertise is life and coaching, and my area of expertise is selling and sales management and training. to the extent that I've developed my own sales training program called Sentient Sales. So we're going to combine our expertise, and we're going to use it. We're going to be selling to sales management, but every week we're going to do 2 shows a week starting, they're going to be on Wednesdays and Fridays. They'll be at 6 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. And we're going to talk about topics.
Or
and
4 p.m.
Pardon me?
Or 4 p.m.
Or 4 p.m.?
You said 3 p.m., which was the Sand Channel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So we won't be on at 4 p.m. We'll be on at 6 p.m. And we're going to be talking about topics that are oriented towards sales professionals, sales management, but they're done in the way that you've seen Shelley and I work in the past. She provides the holistic, whole life approach to it, and I bring the technology, sentient sales side to it. So the combination of those two things gives us this opportunity to create this new channel. We're very excited, not only the new channel, but a new business, and we've already started putting out proposals, so we're looking forward to our near contracts. So it's going to be a little bit different for you if you're not into selling, but as Shelley says, life is about selling. You're always selling. And you're always persuading. And so there's some tools and techniques that you can learn as a result of our effort, of the time, money, and effort we're investing in the new channel and the new business that are going to benefit you as well. Okay? So,
including if you or someone you know is a CEO, a sales manager, a VP sales, or even marketing and want to talk about your industry, your job, how things are changing right now, what things can be done to make that change easier, and you would like to do a live interview with us on Sales Leaders Institute YouTube channel, please email us at salesleadersinstitute@gmail.com.
So I've given it back to you. We're full screen right now.
Let me just share this again. Alrighty. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you'd like to work with us to create the best coaching program possible, if you just want to talk with us and tell us, some of the issues that you've gone through in the past, what's worked, what hasn't, or if you want to do a live interview on our YouTube channel, please do contact us at salesleadersinstitute@gmail.com. And let me switch to the next. All right, question and answer time. Our phone number is 202-815-1171. If you'd like to give us a call and tell us what sparks joy for you. And I'm going to just go back to full screen here.
Thank you. So Sarah Rocks is in the room. She said she's excited for tonight's show. It's probably going to be very different for her. Let me see who else is in the room. Swami says hi.
Swami, yeah.
Pandora Spox. Let's see. Davio is in the room. Tony Russi is in the room.
Everybody getting ready for the next show, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Sarah says, with said supervisor, I've already been approached about the possibility of taking their place by my new manager. Yeah, that's it. One of the things that I learned in business, as long as I was in business, is that you don't need to make yourself look good. Just do what you do the best that you can, and other people will see it. They never miss it. And for the times that I've managed people, I mean, the reason that Shelley and I are together as business partners is that back in 2012, I had gone to the local CNM, the community college here in New Mexico in Albuquerque, and I proposed to the head of their film department that I had a television project that I needed to do, and they weren't into television, they were into film, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll teach your students television, and I'll pay them for their time if you let me use your studios and facilities. And he agreed. I always forget his name. Grub Graebner.
Yeah. Jim Gravener.
Jim Gravener, but they called him Grub. Anyway, so he asked for, he surveyed the students to see who was interested. Shelley was one of the students that was interested, and I think we had probably 12 or 13 students working on the project. We produced 13 episodes in just a little over 2 weeks for a television program called New Mexico Art and Artists. One of my son was one of the artists that we interviewed, but we did 13 shows, 2 artists per show. We had a woman who was a former anchor with KOAT as the interviewer, and it went off really, really well. And the reason that Shelley and I are working together today is because these were mostly younger people, college level students. But she was the hardest worker. She put in the most hours. She put in the hardest work. If she didn't understand something, she'd ask the question immediately before she went ahead with it. And this was all new to them. These were film guys. They weren't television guys. And I noticed that. I literally noticed that was the hardest working student on the team. They all made the same amount of money. They all got paid the same amount. But later on, when I had an opportunity to invite her to join me in other efforts, I asked her, and it was all based on her performance. I didn't say anything to her. I didn't tell her she was the greatest. I just noticed, and that's how these things happen. Put the effort in, and the person that's running it will notice. They'll notice, and then the next time there's an opportunity to pull you into something, they'll pull you in.
That's right. Even just a really positive attitude can make all the difference.
Yeah.
Everybody else is being negative.
And it wasn't that these kids were negative or they wanted to learn, but you could tell if they had a chance to look at their cell phone. There is nothing more frustrating to a director or producer that you're trying to put a team together, and half of them are spending half their time exchanging text messages. She didn't do that. She put her phone in her back pocket and worked the entire time. So
anyway, any other questions or
no? Let me see. Tony thinks your idea for Zoom dinners is a winner. Let's see.
Winner, Zoom dinner.
Yeah. Journeyman just got here. Hi, Journeyman. I think that's it. No questions. This is going to be new for you guys because this is a new set of topics that deals with the approach that we take to operating in this particular sphere. So
Friday is our last video that we're going to do live on the softer side. We're going to move to Sales Leaders Institute at that point. But Friday at 6 o'clock, we'll be here doing an interview with Gus Bonberry. He is the founder of Passion Fruit Web Development. He's going to be telling us about his business and how he's helping to guide small business owners to have a larger online presence in this time of uncertainty and difficulty. How can they take their small brick and mortar business and increase their online presence so that they can continue to stay in business?
And what's interesting about this is the bigger online platforms like Google and Amazon are recognizing there's an opportunity here to start helping to promote small businesses and the kinds of things that they do. And so they're actually increasing the size of their product line in terms of online presence for small business. And Gus is a master of all of those, and he can help them go from that small brick and mortar location on Main Street that's going to be closed down here for a while and leverage it into an online presence that will help. Restaurants, for example, closing their doors, but retaining their cooks and things like that and starting to do a whole takeout thing because that's what we're going to do. You know, Walmart showed up today with 8 breakfasts and 8 dinners for me. So that's the choice. Either you're going to do a bunch of frozen stuff or you're going to start calling out for meals. And the more variety you have, the better it is. And it's, the other thing that Shelley and I were talking about last night was it's going to create a different a different mentality for us, where it's, you may not go out as much. And I'm going to go back to the paper that I did back in the mid 2000s called The Network Paradox. We're going to find out really how valuable the network is to us. In terms of maintaining contact with the people that we care about. Shelley mentioned to you that I set up a Zoom call with my kids I wanted to do it every other week. They all told me, no, let's do this every week at 4:00.
Well, you just had a baby, so
Yeah,
I'm sure that
they all want to see the baby. So we're going to do that at 4:00 on Sundays. And then Shelley pulled that into our relationships, our friendships with folks. And we let our best friends know that at 6:30, we're going to have a little dinner. We're all going to eat dinner in front of the Zoom camera and have and drink wine.
It's like eating in front of the TV, except it talks back to you.
Yeah, which is what we do. These are the people that we get together with dinners for all the time. I think the next thing I'm going to try and do is convince her, because one of my friends is, her name is Janet Bridgers. I've talked about her in the past. But she calls me to go to movies because she doesn't want to go alone. And so I'm going to figure out how to do a movie night one night via Zoom.
Well, even if you just are on the phone, this is what my daughter did when she and her fiance were separated because he was finishing up school in Mississippi.
Yeah.
They would get on the phone and stay on the phone for a really long time, and they'd watch movies together and talk about the movie while it was playing. And you just have to do these things when you're long distance.
Well, I'm gonna pick a movie that we can all enjoy, maybe as 1917 makes it out to Netflix or something, and have a movie night where we can all have popcorn and wine. So.
Yeah, we can have wine because we're not driving.
Exactly. Yeah. So as a matter of fact, I don't know whether Sue texted me. Sue sent me a text. She said, "I'll bring the wine." So.
I'll bring the wine. So, looking
all
forward
right.
to that.
Anything else for tonight?
That's all I have.
All right. Okay, well, guys, thanks for joining us today. This is the second to the last time you'll see us on the softer side. Next week, of course,
Make
we'll move
sure
over to
subscribe to Sales Leaders Institute.
Subscribe, because that's where we'll be next week. Sales Leaders Institute and COVID Conversations on Monday nights. You will continue to see us on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays on A Gypsy's Kiss. But for the near term future, we just got the equivalent of an Amber Alert today saying New Mexico is shut down. Only the only people that are allowed to be out are what do they call them? The essential workers. So we're in lockdown, and we're okay with that. But we're going to make sure that we use all the technology that we have available to us to stay in touch with our family and friends, and showing up on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night is one of the ways to do that. All right. That's all I got. You want to say your goodbyes?
All right, everybody. Thank you for being here today. And for Sales Leaders Institute, I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Younis. Thanks for joining us today.